And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Lister Pros TV. Today we're in Las Vegas, Nevada with Yvonne Thompson of Realty Executive Southern Nevada. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and joining me on Real Estate Pros.
Well, thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so this is our opportunity to get to know you a little bit better, but for those watching that don't know who you are, give us a little bit an introduction about yourself.
My name is Yvonne. I am a real estate agent with Realty Executives of Southern Nevada. I've practiced real estate in Las Vegas for right at 5 years. Prior to that, just before the crash and I moved here, I practiced real estate in Birmingham, Alabama with Keller Williams and Realty South. I practiced for 2.5 to 3 years, so I know a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so the 2.5 years, that was that was
in Alabama.
In Alabama, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was prior to the crash. Then it crashed, and you moved out here.
No, I moved here about 2006 or 7. I don't remember precisely, but it was right before the crash.
Ah, gotcha.
But I had no plans to go into real estate because I love working with buyers. And I was told it was really hot in Vegas. So I wanted to kind of, check things out.
To not sweat so much.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
You're like, what other options are there?
Right.
But here we are, back in real estate.
I know. I'm the oldest of 9 kids. And so I have a very maternal thing going on. I want to take care of everybody and help everybody. And I just love the feeling of helping someone purchase a house or sell a house, do something they didn't think that they would be able to do. And it's not an easy job, but it's very rewarding to me.
Sure.
So
is that the most, or your favorite part about the job?
I'm a people person.
Yeah.
So interacting with the clients, and I love looking at houses. Mm-hmm. When I was raised in Chicago, I was born in Chicago, and I remember as a teenager going to the wealthier areas of the city and looking at all the pretty houses, and I didn't think about that until we were just talking. So I've always liked, looking at houses
So representing buyers is ideally what you do. I'm sure you do listings as well, but
I
most
do
people come
listings
onto the
as
show, they're like, I want to do just listings,
Yeah, no,
But,
I enjoy working with buyers, but I also like educating my clients as I go.
Sure.
I'm an agent that wherever we are in the process, I want you to understand it. Whether I'm working with a buyer and they need to get pre-approval before we get started, I make sure that my lenders let them know all along the way what's going on. And then when it's my turn to step in and actually help them to find a house, I want them to know the whole process, how this is going to work and why we're looking at this instead of that and what benefit this has as opposed to that. I want them to be educated so that when they make their decision, they have an informed decision.
Right, so it sounds like you take the time to understand your customers' needs and then also educate them about the process because, real estate's not easy. It's an emotional transaction, right, that you're dealing with people, and it doesn't always go as planned. So, giving the heads up and educating them about what's going on, what stage of the process we're in, can really help minimize the amount of stress.
So they'll know what to expect or to not expect.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't just educate them about that. I educate them on how important loyalty is to a real estate agent. Because so many clients don't know. I really think that a lot of clients think that real estate agents get paid regardless, like we make a salary or we get an hourly. We don't. And if I'm working with you and I spend 10 hours in the week doing research for you, and then I go out and show you 5 or 10 houses, when I say to you, if you see a house that I haven't shown you and you'd like to see it, don't call the agent on the sign, call me, and I will make the arrangements to show you. That's because if you go to see that house and that agent tells, writes up a contract on you, or you decide you want the house, but then you say, oh, I have an agent, I can write that contract up, but I wasn't the procuring cause. So that agent is going to get that commission, so I just work for free. And a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize that when an agent spends their time and their efforts working and trying to make sure that they facilitate what you need and you go off with someone else, they're just left out in the cold. So if you like your agent and they're doing a good job, don't do that to them.
Wow, so definitely, you got to keep an eye on and make sure that, you're following the process, make sure you're not working for free, right?
Right. And I believe in integrity in the business too. I've had people to contact me and say, well, my agent isn't responding, can you show me this house? No. You have an agent. How long have you worked with that agent? 3-4 weeks. Well, is this the first time they haven't responded? Or, have you been happy up until now? Yes. Well, stick with them. Because my thought is, if they'll jump to me because the agent missed a call or whatever, they'll do the same thing to me. And I believe in loyalty. I don't believe in trying to get someone else's client because I don't want someone else to try to come and get mine. So.
Sure. So what are those main, having that focus on buyers, what are those things that buyers should be aware of? What are those things you're looking for whenever you're going through homes and showing properties that may not show up in the pictures?
A lot of times, a house might show great in photography, but then we get to the house and it's like, is this the same house? Is this
Right.
these the pictures?
Yeah.
And that sometimes happens that way, and sometimes clients can kind of get aggravated at you because they say, oh, this is not what well, we were going by the pictures, just like if you're a client of mine and you've told me you want to be in the Henderson area, we know that you can afford up to $350,000 and you need 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and you don't want anything below 1,700 square feet. I'm going to look for the criteria you have given me. And I might have a list of 25 or 30 homes. I'm going to go through those homes and I'm going to look and say, yeah, they won't want this one. This one is not. I'm going to weed it down.
Sure.
And I might send you 25 or 30 options. And I'm going to tell you to pick your top 10. Because we're not going to look at 30 homes.
Why not? No, I'm just kidding.
We don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
And when I send them to you, don't get mad at me because one of the houses you decided you wanted to see isn't what you thought it was. Because we're doing the same thing. We're looking at the pictures. You're not my only client. I can't go and preview 20 or 30 houses before I take you to them. So have consideration for what my job is and how I'm trying to make sure that I listen to you, listen to what you're looking for and what your wishes are, and let us progress from there. And usually it goes okay, but yes, sometimes you walk into a house and you think, wow, those pictures really don't look like this house, or wow, those pictures don't do this house justice.
Right.
The beginning of this month, I had a closing from a couple that are relocating from California. And they had come over a couple of times. We had gone to look at some places, but we hadn't found anything. But 2-3 times a week, they're on an automatic thing where they get, emails of new houses. And the wife called me one evening and said, okay, I want to put an offer on this house. I said, what house? She said, well, I just got a house in the email. I want to put an offer on it. I said, no. She said, what do you mean? I said, I haven't seen that house. You haven't seen that house. We don't know what the house looks like. You can't just put an offer on the house. And it was like a a Wednesday. And they were going to come into town the weekend. So I told her, okay, tomorrow I'll go and see the house, because the house looked great in the pictures. I mean, it's a really nice house. I said, I'll go see the house. And I went to see the house, and I walked in, and I said, oh my God, it looks like the pictures. It was a really nice house that lived up to the pictures. So that evening I called her and said, okay, the house looks really nice. The house looks like the pictures. But her husband had talked to her and said, look, we'll be there Saturday. Let's just wait until Saturday. And they did. They came in, and I took them out to see the house, and we put an offer, and they closed.
Nice.
Yeah, but I'm not one to just, no, we're not going to just put offers in and you haven't seen it. That's a waste of my time and possibly a waste of yours.
Because you're going to fill out the contract, and then you're going to go through the inspection, then you're going to think at that point in time, oh, this isn't what the pictures look like, you know?
Yeah.
But
But we do that before the inspection.
But it does sound like you kind of do it in a smart way that saves everybody time and frustration, right? I think if buyers are looking at more than 10 properties or a lot more, I mean, obviously there's some with very specific criteria, but being able to kind of weed them down.
Right, you have to
be
give me
intentional
criteria.
about how you're gonna look at the properties.
And when you go out with the client for the first time, it's when you really get a feel for that client and know what they really, really like. I learned that when I sold real estate in Alabama. I had a seasoned agent to say to me, I was brand new, your buyer is going to tell you what they're looking for. And there's a 50-50 possibility that what they buy is nothing like what they told you they were looking for initially. I said, well, what do you mean? She said, I once had a client that had this very specific house that they wanted, very specific. We went to see a house that met all of the criteria, and on that street, there was a totally different house that was for sale. The client wanted to see that house. We went to see that house. They put an offer on that house. You know why? Because that house reminded them of their favorite aunt's house in another state. It was nothing like the information she had given the agent initially. So when you said earlier it's an emotional thing that real estate, it is, it really is. So when I go out with the client for the first time, I pay attention to how they responded to maybe the type of flooring or the size of the rooms or the type of kitchen. Was it a galley kitchen or was it an open, I look at all of that so that if we don't find a place the first time we go out, when I do my next search and I'm looking at pictures, I can do an elimination. I can say, okay, this is a galley kitchen. They're not going to like that. Or this has carpet in all the bedrooms. They're not going to like that, and they don't have the money to change it once they buy it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I love my clients. I'm a people person, but I want our time together to be productive.
Sure.
So
are you seeing, like, from a buyer's perspective right now, are there a lot of multiple offer situations, or can you usually wait a few days, or does it depend on the price point?
It a lot of times depends on the price point and the condition of the property. Now, back in the summer, oh my God, it was horrible. I remember being out with a client. We were like on our 6th property that day, and it was the end of the day. The sun was about to go down. We were in line to see the property. And so I called the agent and said, okay, I'm here waiting to show your property. What's the situation? She said, I have 15 offers. That property had come on the market the day before.
Dang.
Then in October, I had a couple that contacted me. They wanted to sell the home that they had purchased with me 2 years prior. In October, I looked, Henderson property, nice subdivision. It was actually a 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhome, nice backyard area, close to the interstate, and, you know, just really nice property. But the market had changed already. It took us almost 60 days to sell that property, because when I did my research, I found out that in that subdivision, there were already like 5 properties on the market. So then we had to price lower than the lowest, and they hadn't updated or anything, so it made it a harder sell. And I find that now the market is still slower than it was in the summer. However, if you have a good property and it's in good condition and you've priced it right, it won't be on the market that long. It won't. 30 days, 45 days maybe.
Sure.
But yeah.
Awesome. Well, Yvonne, if somebody is watching this and they're interested in hiring you to represent them as a buyer or seller in the Las Vegas area, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, you can reach me at 702-927-0026. You can text me, you can call me, or you can email me at Yvonne, Y-V-O-N-N-E, Sells, S-E-L-L-S, Vegas, V-E-G-A-S, @gmail.com. I also work with investors. In fact, if you know of a property that someone has that's just sitting there in disarray and needs some things done and you want to get rid of it, contact me. I have a lot of investors looking for renovation properties, and I would love to help you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Yvonne, for taking time out of your busy day and joining me today. And we will see you guys on the next episode.